Yes, good morning. In the last class, we were solving some of the MCQs from exercise 1. We have solved about 7 to 8 MCQs there. Probably 7 MCQs were solved. 9 MCQs were solved. Go through the last MCQ, 10th one ನೋಡಿ. Then we'll go for exercise 2. We'll solve some problems from exercise 2 and we'll again come back to exercise 1. 10th one ನೋಡಿ. When stopping potential is applied in an experiment, in an experiment of photoelectric effect, no photocurrent is observed. This means that, see, the question is, when stopping potential is applied in an experiment of photoelectric effect, no photocurrent is observed. This means that, see, when stopping potential is applied in an experiment on photoelectric effect, in order to apply stopping potential, anode must be maintained at negative potential and cathode must be maintained at positive potential. Anode must be maintained at negative potential and cathode must be maintained at positive potential. When light is allowed to fall on the cathode now, electrons get ejected out of the cathode, but will they move towards anode? Will they be able to move towards anode? See, anode is maintained at negative potential. Electrons are also negatively charged. So if this is maintained at stopping potential, will electrons be able to move towards anode? No, electrons will not be able to move towards anode. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ? This means that emission of photoelectrons is stopped. Does it mean when we apply stopping potential to anode, does it mean electrons do not get ejected from the metal surface? No, instead electrons get ejected from the metal surface, but they will not be able to reach the anode. Electrons emit ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Electrons emit ಆಗ್ತದೆ metal surface ಇಂದ, but they will not be able to reach the electrons, reach the anode. Emission of photoelectrons is not stopped. No. Emission of photoelectrons is not stopped. Electrons are still ejected. Photoelectrons are emitted but are reabsorbed by the emitter. Think of this situation. See, when anode is maintained at negative potential and cathode is maintained at positive potential and light of suitable frequency is allowed to fall on the metal surface, electrons are ejected out of this surface. Electrons are emitted from the cathode. But because the cathode is maintained at positive potential, these electrons which are emitted are reabsorbed by the cathode. The electrons that are emitted are reabsorbed by the cathode. These electrons do not reach the anode. Anode kade hogi try madidre, anode ee electrons ne madide repel ಮಾಡಿ, it will push the electrons towards the cathode. So during stopping potential, or when stopping potential is applied in the experiment of photoelectric effect, electrons are emitted from the cathode and these electrons are reabsorbed by it again. These electrons are reabsorbed by it. Option 3 ನೋಡಿ, photoelectrons are accumulated near the collector. Will these electrons accumulate near the collector? These collect ಆಗ್ತವಲ್ಲ, do they get accumulated near the collector? Anode is nothing but collector. Do they get accumulated? If one accumulate ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ accumulate ಆದ್ರೂ ಈ anode negative potential ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ repel ಮಾಡಿ it will be pushed back to the cathode. So electrons do not get accumulated near collector. Photoelectrons are dispersed from the side of apparatus. These electrons ejected are dispersed from the side of apparatus. Apparatus side ಇಂದ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ disperse ಆಗ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that is not possible because this is a tube, glass tube which is completely sealed. There is no possibility for the electrons to get dispersed from the sides. Side ಇಂದ disperse ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ the right option here is 2. Photoelectrons are emitted and are reabsorbed by the cathode. When stopping potential is applied to the anode in photoelectric effect, electrons are emitted but are reabsorbed by the cathode. Cathode can also be called as emitter and anode can also be called as collector. and anode can be called as collector. So the option here is 2. Second option is right. Second option is right. I think this is clear. Have any problem with this question? Question number 10, another doubt. If not, we can move to the next problem. Electron eject ಆಗ್ತದೆ, but it is reabsorbed by the cathode or reabsorbed by the emitter. Cathode ನಾವು emitter ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕರೀತೀವಿ, because it is the electrode that is emitting the electrons. So it is called emitter. It is called emitter. Go through the next problem. If the frequency of incident light is tripled, the stopping potential will, stopping potential depends upon frequency of incident light. Stopping potential depends upon frequency of incident light. This we have discussed. As the frequency of incident light increases, stopping potential also goes on increasing. I have told you, as frequency of incident light increases, energy of photon also increases. Energy of photon is h2. As frequency increases, energy of incident photon increases. If energy of incident photon increases, we know that energy of photon is used by the electron in 2 ways. Energy of the photon is used by the electron in 2 ways. What function? Kinetic energy. When energy increases, kinetic energy of the photoelectrons also increases. When kinetic energy of photoelectrons increases, the negative potential that is to be applied to stop these electrons will also increase. So we say, as the frequency of incident light increases, stopping potential also increases. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, if frequency of incident light is tripled, the stopping potential will be tripled, become 1/3, become more than triple, become less than triple, but more than double number. See, if we say stopping potential increases with increase in frequency, frequency increase ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ stopping potential increase ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, but there is no direct proportional relationship between stopping potential and frequency. Stopping potential and frequency are not directly proportional to each other. As frequency increases, stopping potential also increases. And you must remember, if frequency is tripled, stopping potential is more than tripled. If frequency is tripled, stopping potential will become more than triple. ಮುಂಚೆ stopping potential 5 volts or -5 volt ಇದ್ರೆ, once frequency is tripled, stopping potential becomes more than -15 ohms. If initial stopping potential was -5 volt, after tripling frequency of incident light, stopping potential will not become -15 volt, instead it becomes more than -15 ohms. Stopping potential and frequency are not exactly directly proportional, right? They increase. Stopping potential increases with the increasing frequency of light. So as frequency is tripled, stopping potential becomes more than triple. Stopping potential becomes more than triple. ಈ graphs ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಹಾಕಿವಲ್ಲಿ, we have got a graph of stopping potential. This is potential, and this is, say, photocurrent. For given intensity of light, photocurrent will be constant. For a particular intensity, photocurrent will be constant. This is a stopping potential at some particular negative potential. This is 0. ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. At a particular negative potential, photocurrent becomes 0. This particular negative potential is called as stopping potential. We'll write it as -V01. This is for light of frequency nu1. If I further increase the frequency of incident light, frequency ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ intensity constant ಇಡ್ತೀನಿ. I am not going to change the intensity of light. Instead I am increasing the frequency of light. Because I am keeping intensity of light constant, photocurrent remains same. But because I have increased the frequency, stopping potential increases from minus V01 to minus V02. This is for light of frequency nu2. This is stopping potential for light of frequency nu1, and this is stopping potential for light of frequency nu2. Again, keeping intensity of light constant. If you further increase the frequency, intensity constant or the photocurrent also remains constant. As frequency is increased, stopping potential also increases. This is nu3. We can write nu3 is greater than nu2 is greater than nu1. As you go on increasing the frequency of incident, right? Stopping potential also increases. This is variation of stopping potential with frequency. As frequency increases, stopping potential also increases. If frequency is tripled, stopping potential becomes more than triple. If frequency is increased by 4 times, stopping potential will increase by more than 4 times. This is to be remembered, right? So the option here is 3. Option here is 3. Now these are like understanding type of questions. Idun on sarti odi you need to remember them. Idadmele 12th question nodri. 12th question. A point source of light is used in a photoelectric effect. If the source is moved farther away from emitting metal, stopping potential will. According to the problem, a point source of light is used in a photoelectric effect experiment. Right? A point source of light is used in photoelectric effect experiment. If source is moved farther away from the emitting plate, let us suppose this is a plate that emits electron. We call this as emitting plate. This is emitting plate. Okay. Here is a point source of light. This is the source that emits light. When light from this source is incident on the emitting plate, electrons are ejected out of it. Right? Now, if the source is moved farther away from the emitting plate, this source now, if we start moving away from the emitting plate, source now plate in the dura tagondodangella, what happens to the stopping potential? Can you tell me, if I move this source away from the emitting plate is the source na dura tagondodangella, frequency change the intensity of light falling on the emitting plate changes. What changes? Whether frequency of light falling on the plate changes or intensity of the light falling on the plate changes. As I move this source away from the emitting plate, which quantity changes? Whether intensity of the light falling on the plate changes or frequency of the light falling on the plate changes. Very good. Intensity of the light falling on the plate changes. Do you think intensity depends upon, or stopping potential depends upon intensity of light? Do stopping potential depend upon intensity of light? Stopping potential does not depend upon intensity. Stopping potential depends upon frequency. Stopping potential depends upon frequency. If you move this source away from the emitting plate, frequency remains same. If frequency is remaining same, stopping potential must also remain same. While moving this source away, what changes is intensity of light. Intensity of light changes. But intensity and stopping potential are not at all related with each other. Stopping potential does not depend upon intensity of light. Right? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ. Observe, if I plot a graph between photocurrent and potential. Photocurrent and potential. This will be the nature of the graph for light of intensity I1. for light of intensity I1, this was the current and this was the corresponding stopping potential minus V01. If I increase the intensity of light, if I increase the intensity of light from I1 to I2, which quantity increases? If I increase the intensity of light from I1 to I2, which quantity increases? Whether photocurrent increases or stopping potential increases. If I increase the intensity of incident light, which quantity increases? Whether photocurrent increases or stopping potential increases. Photocurrent increases from I1 to I2. ನೋಡಿ photocurrent I1 ಇಂದ I2 ಆಯ್ತು. Photocurrent increase ಆಗ್ತದೆ, but stopping potential remains the same. By changing the intensity of light, you cannot change the stopping potential. Stopping potential na change ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. Stopping potential na change ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you have to change the frequency of light. If you further increase the intensity of light from I2 to I3, I2 to I3 intensity ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆಂಪಿಯರ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆಂಪಿಯರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 15 ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆಂಪಿಯರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್. But the stopping potential remains the same. For all different intensities, stopping potential is the same. This means that stopping potential is independent of intensity of incident light. Stopping potential is independent of intensity of incident light, right? So if you move the source away from the emitting plate, what changes is intensity. Intensity change ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ stopping potential na change ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So stopping potential remains the same. Suppose if you happen to place a color filter between emitting plate and the source, what happens? If you happen to place a color filter between the emitting plate and the source, what happens? Frequency remains same or changes? Frequency remains same or changes? If you happen to place a filter, colored filter between emitting plate and the source, frequency remains the same or changes? Changes. If frequency changes, what happens to the stopping potential? If frequency changes, what happens to the stopping potential? Frequency change ಆದರೆ energy change ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Energy of photon, you need to remember this. E is equal to h nu. This is energy of the photon. If frequency changes, energy of the incident photon changes. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ electron will now be absorbing a higher energy or a greater energy. A part of this energy will be used as work function and remaining part will be used as kinetic energy. Is that it? So as frequency changes, stopping potential also changes. These are some important aspects which you need to remember as far as photoelectric effect is concerned. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಾರ್ತಿ ಓದ್ರಿ. Go through these points again, try to understand them. ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಹೇಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Stopping potential is directly proportional to kinetic energy of the electron, maximum kinetic energy of the electron. We write maximum kinetic energy of the electron is equal to eV0. Proportionality constant is E. This is the relationship between kinetic energy and stopping potential. Maximum kinetic energy is equal to eV0, right? As kinetic energy increases, stopping potential should also be increased, right? Go through these points. These are quite important. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ exercise 2 ನೋಡ್ರಿ. We'll solve remaining problems again. Exercise 1 ಮತ್ತೆ problems ಮಾಡೋಣ. Go through exercise 2. Exercise 2 ನಾಗೆ numerical value problems ಇರ್ತವೆ. This must also be solved. Exercise 2 ನೋಡ್ರಿ. Exercise 2 ನಾಗೆ first problems ನ ಪವರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರೆ. We have defined what is power. Power ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಥವಾ how do you define power? Power is rate of doing work. Power is generally rate of doing work. Power of a light source ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ power of a light source. Power of a light source is defined as energy emitted by the source per second. Power of a light source is defined as energy emitted by the source per second. If we are considering the light source, energy emitted must be the energy of photons. Light is nothing but photons. Light is made up of photons. So E must be representing energy of photons. E must be representing energy of photons. So energy of photon is known as h nu by T. If the source is emitting only one photon, energy will be h nu. If the source is emitting two photons, energy emitted must be 2 h nu. If the source is emitting 3 photons, energy emitted must be 3 h nu. If the source is emitting n photons, energy must be n h nu. Energy must be n h nu. A source of light will emit large number of photons. Energy associated with each photon is h nu. Energy associated with 2 photons is 2 h nu. Energy associated with 3 photons is 3 h nu. And energy associated with n photons is n h nu divided by T. So this is the formula for power of a light source. Power of a light source is given by n h nu divided by T. We have already discussed about this. Power of a light source is n h nu divided by T, where n represents number of photons emitted by the source, h is Planck's constant, nu is frequency of incident light, T is the time for which photons are emitted. The same can be written as T is equals to nh, nu can be written as c by lambda. You know that c is equals to nu lambda. Velocity is equals to frequency into wavelength. So frequency can be written as c by lambda. Nu can be written as c by lambda divided by T. nh by T आगे बढ़ो nh by T. Nu is written as c by lambda. So this is power emitted by the source in terms of wavelength. This is power in terms of frequency. Power in terms of frequency and power in terms of wavelength. Energy of each photon. Energy of each photon is h nu, which can also be written as h c by lambda. Nu can be written as c by lambda. Right? This is regarding power. Power ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ there may be problems on intensity as well. Intensity na define ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಿ. Intensity is defined as amount of energy flowing per unit area per unit time normally. Suppose we have some surface here through which some kind of an energy, say heat energy or light energy, is flowing. The amount of energy flowing per unit area of this body per second is called as intensity. E area ಒಳಗೆ 1 second ಎಷ್ಟು energy flow ಆಗ್ತದೆ, the amount of energy flowing per unit area of this body per second is called as intensity. If per second per unit area of this body large amount of energy flows, we say intensity is high. If per second per unit area the amount of energy flowing is less, we say intensity is less. So intensity is defined as amount of energy flowing per unit area per unit time normally. What can we substitute for E if the energy under consideration is light? If the energy under consideration is light energy, what can we substitute for E? What can you substitute for E if the energy under consideration is light energy? E na ಏನಂತ substitute ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? What do you substitute E as if the energy under consideration is light energy? Very good. E must be substituted as h nu. A light source will be generally emitting large number of photons. You are saying energy of one photon. Generally a source will be emitting large number of photons. However, what do you substitute E as? What do you substitute E as? E must be substituted as nh nu divided by A into T. I, intensity is nh nu divided by A into T. This can also be written as nh by AT. nh by AT. Nu can be written as C by lambda. Nu can be written as C by lambda. ಈ ಡಿಯಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ನ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಈಸಿ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಬಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೈ. 5-6 ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದೇ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾನಾಗೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಈಸಿ. ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಗೀತಷ್ಟೇ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ some basic problems which are to be solved from dual nature of radiation and matter. ಬಹಳ ಸರ್ತಿ ಪವರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಬಂದವೆ ಡ್ಯುಯಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ನಾಗ. ಸೊ ಪವರ್ ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ರೈಟ್? ಓಕೆ, then we'll solve some of the MCQs on it now. Solve some of the MCQs. First problem, nodri, go through the problem number 1 from exercise 2. Exercise 2 na problem number 1 nodri. A 100 watt sodium lamp radiates energy uniformly in all directions. There is a 100 watt sodium lamp. It emits energy in all possible directions, right? This is a sodium lamp of power 100 watts, right? The lamp is located at the center of a large sphere that absorbs all the sodium light which is incident on it. This sodium lamp is situated at the center of a large sphere, and this large sphere absorbs all the sodium light that is incident on it. The sodium light in this sphere agirtala adana purti ee sphere absorb maduttu. Andre this sphere is a good absorber. This sphere is a good absorber. Okay. The wavelength of sodium light is 589 nanometer. The wavelength of this sodium light is given as 589 nanometer. Wavelength of light is given to us as 589 nanometer. At what rate are the photons delivered to the sphere? At what rate the photons are delivered to the sphere? This sphere ಮೇಲೆ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಬೀಳ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ yes, you are asked to calculate at what rate photons are delivered to the sphere. At what rate photons are delivered to the sphere ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you need to calculate number of photons incident on this sphere per unit time. 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿಗೆ ಆ ಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ you need to calculate n/t, number of photons incident per unit time. n/t is to be calculated. You are given the power of the source, you are given wavelength of the light, you need to calculate n/t, number of photons delivered per second to the sphere. That is to be calculated. Power is given, wavelength of light is given, and you need to calculate number of photons incident on the sphere per second. We know how to express power of a source. We know that power of source is nhc divided by t lambda, isn't it? Power of source is nhc divided by t lambda. We need to express power of source in terms of wavelength because wavelength is given. Frequency kottidre I would have expressed it as nhν by t. If the frequency of light was given, I would have expressed power as nhν by t. Energy emitted per unit time. Energy is nhν divided by time. But namige ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು wavelength ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ I have expressed the nu as c by lambda. We need to calculate n/t ratio, number of photons delivered per second to the sphere, n/t. n/t can be written as p lambda divided by hc, p lambda divided by hc. I have told you to remember this factor. The factors of negligible ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. It is about 21 into 10 to the power of minus 26. H is 6.625 10 power minus 34. C is 3 into 10 to the power of 8. 6.62 into 10 to the power of minus 34 into 3 into 10 to the power of 8. 6.6 now I am approximating it to be 7. 7 3s are 21. 10 power minus 34 and 10 power 8 is 10 power minus 26. So remember this h into c as 21 into 10 power minus 26. ಬಾಳ ಕಡೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, right? So n by t, number of photons delivered per second will be, power is 100 into wavelength of light is 589 into 10 to the power of minus 9 nanometer nagada. Wavelength of light is in nanometer, divided by 21 into 10 to the power of minus 26. 21 ones are 21, almost 5s are. Approximate ಮಾಡಿ, do not go for exact calculation, ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಇದನ್ನ approximate to 20, 21s are 25s are 100 over. This can be approximated to be 600. This can be approximated to be 600. 6 5s are. ಇದನ್ನ approximate ಮಾಡಿ 600 ಇದೆ. 6 5s are 30. ಎರಡು zeros into 10 to the power of minus 26 now plus 26. 26 minus 9. 26 minus 9 is 17. 26 minus 9 is 17. So this becomes 3 into 10 to the power of 20 photons per second. Now the calculation is quite simple. If you know the approximations, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಸಿ ನನಗೆ 21 ಇತ್ತು, ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟೆಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ 20. 21s are 20, 5s are 100 ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇದು 589 ಇದೆ. 589 into 5 ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು. ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು 600. 600 times 5 is 3000. 3000 into 10 to the power of 17 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ 3 zeros ತೆಗೆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ 3 into 10 to the power of 20 photons per second. ಅಂದ್ರೆ about 3 into 10 to the power of 20 photons are incident on the metal sphere every 1 second. So the option here is 1. So make use of the formula properly. ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಏನ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಡೆಲಿವರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you need to calculate number of photons incident on the sphere per second. Rate antandre you should always measure it with respect to time. Number of photons emitted or delivered per unit time. Rate antandre yavaglu time jothe measure ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, right? So this is regarding the problem number 1, and just copy it down. Is this problem clear? There are any doubt about? Any doubts in this problem? Second problem ನೀವೇ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಈಗ you can calculate second problem. Number of photons emitted per second. Number of photons emitted per second by a medium wave transmitter of 10 kilowatt power emitting radio waves of wavelength 500 meters. They have given us the power of the medium wave transmitter. Power ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ 10 kilowatt ಅಂತ, wavelength 500 meter ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ. You are asked to calculate number of photons emitted per second. Again you are asked to calculate n by t. Again you are asked to calculate n by t. Number of photons emitted per second, n by t is equals to power of the source is given as 10 kilo, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10 power 4. 10 into 10 power 3. 10 into 10 power 3 is nothing but 10 power 4. 10 kilo into wavelength is 500 meter divided by h into c is 21 into 10 to the power of minus 26. ಈ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಾರಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತದೆ, ರೈಟ್? 21s are 20 ಎಷ್ಟಾಗ್ತದೆ? 21s are 20 25s are 25s are 20 times 25. 20 times 25 is 500. This becomes 25 into 10 to the power of 22. find P. 10 to the power of 22. 10 kilowatt, 500 meter. This must be minus 26 now or plus 26. 26 plus 4 is 30. Minus 26 when goes numerator becomes plus 26. So 26 plus 4 is 30. So this must be 2.